Our tragic and mysterious story today is a plane crash that took place in Turkey in the year 1975. This true story, which leaves many questions behind, leaves 42 dead and many conspiracy theories under the sea. The calendar showed January 30th, 1975. Turkish Airlines flight TK345 took off from Izmir to Istanbul at 8:00 on a cold and stormy Thursday evening. There were 38 passengers and 4 crew members on the Fokker F-28 type plane. The passengers thought they were going on an ordinary flight, but none of them knew that this plane would never land again, and that this journey would be one of the most mysterious air accidents in history. The first 45 minutes of the journey went smoothly. The pilots began preparations for landing at Yeşilköy Airport in Istanbul. As the pilots descended slowly and came close to the runway, something incredible happened. The power suddenly went out at the airport. Because of the power outage, the pilots aborted the landing just as they were about to touch down on the runway. At this point, they reported to the tower that they could not see the runway clearly. The flight crew rose to make another circuit in the air. The landing would be repeated. When the lights came back on at the airport after 30 seconds, the tower officials started to carry out operations and informed the Bursa plane circling in the air that there was another plane waiting for permission to take off on the runway. Thereupon, the Bursa pilots said that they could not land immediately and that they would return over the Marmara Sea. This was their last conversation with the tower. After the American Pan Am plane waiting on the runway took off, the tower officers tried to reach the pilots to land the Bursa plane, but they could not communicate with the pilots. Even worse, the plane was no longer visible on the radar. When no communication could be established with the plane, an alarm was given. Now, the worst possible scenario came to mind. The Bursa plane was no longer in the sky. So where was it? The weather conditions were very bad that day. There was a storm called Ayandan over the Marmara Sea. Time was passing quickly, but no sign of the plane could be found. Unfortunately, the bad news was finally confirmed. The plane had crashed into the Sea of Marmara. Search and rescue efforts were immediately started with helicopters, sea vehicles, and divers. But the weather was so bad that one of the divers scouring the sea was saved from death at the last moment. The search efforts of the naval forces also yielded no results. As time went by, hopes were diminishing. Despite days of searching, not a single trace of the plane could be found. Until a week after the crash, fishermen caught aircraft parts in their nets off the coast of Bandırma. Authorities confirmed that they belonged to the Bursa plane. The plane that crashed into the Sea of Marmara left only questions to be answered. Despite the passage of 50 years, neither the plane's black box nor the bodies of the passengers have been found. Despite the plane being only 75 meters under the sea, no attempt was made to retrieve the black box or the dead. 50 years have passed since that day. Every year, on January 30th, families leave flowers at the spot where the plane crashed. However, the cause of the crash is still unknown. Why did this plane crash? Why has the wreckage not been found? Why has the black box not been found after it was found? Why were the passengers left under the sea? While these questions have not been answered for 50 years, conspiracy theories have begun to be voiced in an increasingly stronger way over the years. The fact that some powerful company executives were traveling on the Bursa plane that day caused different conspiracy theories to emerge and continue to do so. Moreover, this accident was not the first disaster involving a Fokker F-28 type aircraft. The first 2 of the 5 aircraft in the Turkish Airlines inventory had crashed in Izmir and Ankara. The Marmara Sea disaster was the 3rd accident involving an F-28. After this incident, the remaining 2 aircraft were taken out of operation and sold to different companies. It was later reported that both aircraft that were sold had crashed. The crash of the Bursa plane, which has gone down in Turkish and world aviation history, seems to remain a mystery until the wreckage is removed. We would like to take this opportunity to offer our condolences to the families of those who lost their lives in the accident. If you are curious about and want to watch such true stories, please subscribe to our channel. If you like and comment, you will help our channel grow even more. Stay with love, stay with passion, stay with justice. Goodbye.